Where were you born? Where did you grow up?
Jamaica, Queens, New
Oh, wow.
York.
Been there.
Have you?
What year?
1951 on 187th Street.
Mm-hmm.
We were in the wall. There was Jamaica Avenue, and south of Jamaica Avenue was all the really poor people, predominantly black neighborhood. And Jamaica Avenue was sort of like a boundary line. And then a few blocks up from Jamaica Avenue was Hillside Avenue. And that was another wall. Everybody above Hillside Avenue were the rich bastards. Donald Trump grew up the hill from me. Lesbian life during the time I was getting into threesomes and such, had a group out called Baba Yaga. And Baba Yaga had one of their songs was monogamy, schmonogamy. And it was about multiple sexual partners and stuff like that. At one point, I was on a softball team, and I looked around the field at all the women that were playing, and I thought, oh, I never slept with third base.
Yeah.
But it was like, I remember that I'd look around and I'd think, oh, I haven't slept with Doris yet. Becky I haven't slept with yet. You know, there was a lot of wounding, too. You know, in festival, we used to have what were called cuddle dates. And that's what they were, cuddling only. They were not sexual. It was a way to free yourself sexually from the restrictions or the uptightness or whatever it is that was drilled into you, that sex was dirty. It certainly, as I grew older, was not my thing. We had our period with the AIDS epidemic. We had to like talk about safe sex and have you tested positive or negative, or, you know, are you relatively monogamous and things like that. And from that, I went to the Before You Sleep With Me talk about explaining to people how I have sleep apnea and I snore really badly, and I would be really upset if you just get up and leave in the middle of the night and I don't know it. It will really hurt. And now, I think more recently, I feel like I need to explain that I'm a fucking activist, you know? And it's like, what do we confess of ourselves before we let ourselves into that potentially emotional sand trap, you know?
What have been the most important life lessons that you've learned in your life?
Okay, the only thing, the first thing that came to mind was that I shouldn't write the script before it happens. I don't know what's gonna happen. And every time I think I did this or this, I exclude the possibility of the endless other things that might happen. Life is a series of forks in the road, and we choose which direction we're going to take. And at some point, you may need to backtrack and change your mind to go in a different direction. I learned that from AA, only it used to be every path, every choice, one takes you closer to a drink and one takes you further away. But it's a whole series.
Mm-hmm.
I think we need to keep walking through or asking ourselves, what is it that's preventing us from being open? And a lot of times, sometimes you can, or I have been able to break it down to some form of fear. You know, fear of losing something that I have or not getting something that I want. And that makes fear my higher power. That will prevent us from keeping an open heart.